A guy at the counter laughed at the cheaper pistol like it already failed. 10 minutes later, the expensive safe pick choked on the lane, and the ugly one kept punching holes like nobody told it to be embarrassed. Bad pistols die on the range. Good pistols get killed at the counter, usually by some guy scared to look broke, clueless, or old school. I've done it too. I walked past pistols because the name felt wrong, the grip looked plain, the price looked too low, or the internet already labeled them leftovers. That is the problem with buying in 2026. Too many shooters buy reputation, then call it confidence. Every pistol here has a reason nobody wants it. Everyone also has a reason that excuse starts cracking. And the last one looks so ordinary, most serious buyers walk right past it, right before pride costs them money, and that ought to bother you too. Beretta makes striker compacts now? I thought about those. That was a few weeks ago. And yeah, I didn't argue. Most guys hear Beretta and think old metal guns, PX4. Not something you actually carry. Right next, safe pick. The one everyone trusts. Better reputation, more hype, easy choice. We ran them and the problem showed up fast. With the better gun, every second shot needed a grip adjustment. Not huge, but enough to slow you down. You feel it stacking up. Timer's running, and you're fighting the gun more than the drill. Then I grabbed the APX1 compact. Same pace, but that problem just disappeared. No grip correction. No chasing the sights. It just returned where it was supposed to, and again. That's where the comparison got uncomfortable, not, this feels amazing. More like, why am I working harder with the other gun? Most people won't even notice that, because they don't shoot enough for it to show up. And I didn't like because the APX is boring. Dead in the hand, no character, nothing you'd brag about. But it quietly removed a problem I'd been tolerating, like it was normal. And that's why guns like this stay under the radar. Guys who figure it out don't talk about it. And now, every time I pick up that better, he almost didn't even take it out. Couple in the line. And his main carry gun's sitting there. The one everybody recommends. The one people defend, like it's personal. Then, there's this Masada Slim off to the side. Looks like it doesn't belong. I joked about it. He didn't laugh. Just said, that's the one I don't tell people about. Didn't land at first. Then he says something that stuck. His main gun carried fine. But every time he tried to run it fast, it made him think too much. Grip pressure, timing, nothing failed. But nothing felt automatic either. Every string looked like he was negotiating with it. That's the problem. Not failure. Interruption. He sets it down, picks up the Masada Slim. First run, no hesitation, no mental checklist, just straight through, like out of the way. That was the snap. Not this is better. More like, why did that attention? Guys started asking, passing it around. Most people will never get there. They don't shoot enough for that to even show up. And yeah, it's plain. Trigger's average, grip's nothing special. A gun this forgettable is the one that lets you stop thinking. Then what are you actually trying? The next one, people don't stay quiet about it for long. The SAR9 Gen 3 has to survive its own name. It's not fair, but gun counters are not fair places. They're little ego traps with glass tops. Last month in Austin, I stood at a counter while a guy 2 spots down asked for carry 9mm. The clerk pulled 3 pistols. The SAR came out, and the guy barely looked at it. Saw the name, gave that short little head shake, and went right back to the familiar logos. No grip check, no slide rack, no dry press, no price question. Brand bias killed the pistol. before the pistol got to speak. That part stuck with me because the SAR9 Gen 3 does not feel like some flimsy discount mistake. It has that service gun seriousness to it. The grip sits right, the trigger is usable, and it does not feel unfinished unless you bolt 3 aftermarket parts onto it just to calm your ego. Holster support is not as easy. Resale confidence gets weird. The badge still makes people twitch, but that is the uncomfortable part. Nobody wants it because the name feels risky to admit. They should, because the gun itself rarely feels like the risk. Sometimes the market is not careful. Sometimes it is just scared. And the strange part is, the SAR still looks normal. What came after that made people nervous before they even understood how the damn thing worked. The grand power. K100 sat open on the bench like somebody had dropped off a pistol and a science project in the same case. The barrel looked wrong. Not broken. Worse than broken. Unfamiliar. A guy beside me leaned over, squinted into the slide, and said, "What the hell is that supposed to do?" Nobody laughed. That was the weird part. Everybody had the same face. Suspicion. Like the gun had already asked for too much trust before a round even chambered. I had been shooting normal pistols that afternoon. Good guns. Safe guns. The kind nobody has to explain. Then the K100 landed in my hand, and my brain kept looking for the gimmick. Then I pushed it. The jump I expected never really showed up. The pistol came back flat, calm, almost rude about it. Not soft like a heavy gun, more like the recoil got shoved somewhere else before my hands could fight it. The guy who questioned it picked it up after me, fired a few rounds, and got quiet. That's the whole problem with the K100. Nobody wants it because it asks them to trust something they don't understand. They should, because it makes familiar pistols feel a little lazy. Parts, holsters, support, that still bothers me. The next one didn't need strange mechanics to get judged. It just showed up wearing the wrong kind of tactical costume. In 2026, too tactical only sounds tacky when the wrong logo is stamped on the slide. Stoeger STR9. Combat sat alone in a Dallas gun shop on a weekday, dressed like it rated a tactical catalog. Threaded barrel, tall sights, optic cut, flared magwell, 20-round mags. All that gear sitting there, and nobody wanted to make eye contact with it. The clerk smirked and called it the shotgun company's pistol. That line should have sent me out the door. Instead, it got under my skin. Because when a bigger name stacks those same features, guys call it ready. Stoeger does it. And everybody acts like the pistol showed up wearing a fake badge. I bought it. Next morning, outdoor bay, mean sun. Dust blowing across the table. Mags hitting the dirt harder than they needed to. I ran the STR9 Combat dirty on purpose. No wipe down between strings. No wipe down between strings. No baby treatment. Just a rough range morning. The damn thing stayed with me. Grip angle felt natural. The magwell helped when my reloads got sloppy. Tall sights were not decoration. Big mags made sense once the pace picked up. It did not feel like cosplay anymore. It felt like a cheaper pistol carrying useful gear buyers only respect when the logo flatters them. That is the cost with this one. You have to own the joke before the gun proves it was not joking. And what came after that looked even less like something the market wanted to forgive. Honestly, I didn't want the PX4 Storm to still make sense. That was the problem. It had been sitting in an old holster box in my garage, buried under newer gear that looked more like 2026. Cleaner slides, easier trigger stories, optic cuts. Striker fired stuff that takes less explaining when somebody asks what you carry. The PX4 looked like it missed the meeting. Fat slide, rounded body, A/SI controls. That old Beretta weirdness all over it. I picked it up almost hoping it felt outdated. because then I could shove it back in the box and feel smart for moving on. It didn't give me that. Hot day, sweaty shirt, normal range work, carry draw, first double action press, a few fast strings, normal reloads, nothing dramatic, no miracle, no thunder, just that annoying smooth roll every time it fired. The recoil didn't snap. It came out of the gun softer than the shape deserved, settled fast, and made some newer pistols feel like they were trying too hard to prove they were modern. No, the PX4 is not clean. The controls are old school, the slide is chunky, and depending on setup, optics and holsters can still be a pain. But nobody wants it because it feels like yesterday's answer. They should, because yesterday's answer still fixes problems. Today's buyers keep paying extra to soften. And if the PX4 gets rejected for aging weird, number 1 gets rejected for something even more embarrassing, looking too ordinary to respect. This is the pick people will fight me on. Because nobody wants the Ruger Security 9 sitting at number 1. After a range day, out by the trucks, the shooting was over, and the excuses were still alive. One guy blamed his optic, another talked triggers. Somebody's expensive pistol still needed one more upgrade. Then an older guy zipped up a Security 9 like he was putting away a drill. Before that, the Ruger had run cheap ball, 2 defensive mags, and a dirty spare magazine without one pause. No clearing drill. No bench surgery. No, hold on. Better looking pistols kept needing explanations. The plain one just worked, got packed, and went home. That's why nobody wants it. It looks too ordinary to respect. It doesn't give you expensive gun confidence. It doesn't photograph like a flex. It looks like something a normal person buys when he still needs money for ammo, gas, and bills at home. Gun culture keeps asking for simple, affordable, easy-to-own pistols. Then one shows up looking exactly like that, quietly beats the room, and everybody still calls it boring. Nobody wants it because it looks plain. They should, because plain might be what they needed. That's what makes this list uncomfortable. These pistols are not cool enough to brag about, not expensive enough to flex, and not polished enough for guys who need a logo to feel safe. But they kept answering the ugly question. Does it work after the jokes stop? Some annoy me. A few feel awkward. 1 or 2 look like they belong on the bottom shelf forever. Fine. The range does not care what the counter thinks. Your belt does not care what the forums say. Your wallet feels the difference. Drop the pistol everybody ignores and tell me which approved gun let you down. I'm Steve. Pride is expensive. The case nobody checks might be where the smarter buy sits.